Install ERROR Install Vatican City. Recalling that Jesus was born a stable in Bethlehem on Christmas Eve. Pope Francis said that even today, the conflict of arms prevents Jesus from finding a place the world. The Pope presided over an evening mass on Sunday attended by about 6,500 faithful who stood behind rows of white-clad bishops amid the grandeur of St. Peter's Basilica. Our hearts are in Bethlehem, where Prince of Peace was once again rejected by futile logic of war. Pope said, referring to war sparked by Hamas' deadly attack and hostage-taking on Israel on October 7. As service began, a statuette Christ child was unveiled in front of altar decorated with greenery and white flowers. And children representing every corner world placed flowers around a gilded throne. Clad in white robes, Francis led the Mass standing at the foot of one of St. Peter's large columns. Recalling that Jesus was born during a census aimed at strengthening the power of King David, Francis warned against a world-obsessed success. With worldly power might, the pursuit of fame and glory, measuring everything by success, results, numbers, figures. In contrast, Jesus humbly entered the world and took on human flesh. We do not see here God of wrath and punishment, but a God of mercy who took on flesh and entered the world in weak state. The Pope said, a pagan God is linked to the idolatry of power, worldly success and consumerism. The Pope said, on the other hand, God leaves no spell undone. He is not a trading God who promises everything at once. He doesn't save us by pressing a button. He approaches us to change our world from the inside. As Christmas Eve Mass ended, Pope, pushed in a wheelchair, walked down the Basilica with a life-size statue of baby Jesus in his arms and children carrying bouquets with him. The statue was placed in a manger at a nativity scene in the Basilica. Francis, 87, uses a wheelchair to walk long distances and a cane for short distances due to knee ligament pain. During traditional Angelus blessing overlooking St. Peter's Square at noon, the Pope remembered those who suffered from war, recalling specific conflicts in Ukraine and Israel's and siege of Gaza Strip in response to an attack by Hamas. We stand with our brothers who are victims of war. We think of Palestine, Israel, Ukraine. We also think of those who suffer from misery, hunger and slavery, Francis said. May God, who takes human hearts for himself, instill humanity in people's hearts. He added, speaking from window of his studio to thousands of faithful gathered in St. Peter's Square for Angelus prayer. Pope also called on faithful not to confuse celebration with consumerism. One can and should celebrate simply as a Christian, without waste and sharing with those who lack necessities or fellowship. Traditionally, Catholics celebrate Christmas Eve by attending Mass at midnight, but over years Vatican's start time has been pushed back earlier, reflecting Heal